Here to react, former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci and former campaign manager Corey Lewandowski, now part of the VP's Political Action Committee, the Great America Committee. Do you guys get along, you two? There's no turf war here? Everything's going to be okay?
No, we both got fired. We get along great. Hey, come on. Doesn't get better than that, baby.
So much in common.
It's a select group, but it's getting bigger.
Yeah, you got fired, and then they bring in Manafort. How about that? Not a good idea.
So well.
I know. Do you ever hold that against him?
You know what it is? We're the FBLs, fired but loyal.
Fired but loyal. Yeah, they have a few other people. A very small group, hopefully getting smaller. So what do you think about my brilliant commentary, Corey?
Look, here's what I think. The left will never give this president the credit that he deserves. First, he wasn't going to be prepared for the meeting. Now he's had personally negotiated the release of 3 American hostages there. He gets no credit for that. He's moving towards a denuclearization of the North Korean peninsula. He gets no credit for that. And all they say is, remember, even when the meeting was potentially going to be on, he will never be ready for this meeting. He is not prepared. He never gets the credit he deserves, and it's shameful.
It is shameful. And why do you think that is, Anthony? Why do you think the Democrats, throwing political caution to the wind, side with people like Kim Jong Un? Don't they see that that's not smart politics?
They're so scared of the president. Let's just face it, okay? He is not a politician in the classic sense. And so when you look at all of those sound bites that you just played, they're all off the same playbook. The president's operating off a different playbook. It's a business executive's playbook. It's a negotiating style that isn't typical in Washington. And so they are so fearful, Jesse, that he's going to win with his negotiating style, and then it's going to cause the American people to do what they're already starting to do. Is why do we need these guys when we can bring in people like the president to handle these matters?
Right, it's a threat to the political class.
That's why they're going so crazy.
So if good things happen for America and Donald Trump, bad things happen for the Democratic Party. That's how they see it. So they can't allow the president to have a foreign policy success.
Jesse, these Democrats, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, they hate this president.
Crying Chuck.
They hate this president more than they love their country. And that's a sad commentary, but it's so true. Look, 30 years of failed foreign policy under Crooked H, under live shot John Kerry, right? It failed and it failed and it failed. And what happened was John Kerry failed, Hillary Clinton failed. Donald Trump came in and said, I'm going to do it differently. And now we're seeing success in North Korea for the first time.
Yeah, John Kerry's not going to be riding his bicycle over in Singapore.
He didn't do that so well.
No, not so well. Let me get your reaction to James Comey. So the spygate thing has now blown into the atmosphere. And Comey was asked about, did they have a spy in the campaign? And here's what the former FBI director said.
As best I can tell, it's made up. I don't know where he's getting that from, honestly.
Do you find that to be at all possible or probable? I'm going to just play devil's advocate, that there was a spy inserted into his campaign by an intelligence agency?
I don't find it possible, and I know it not to be true.
Maybe James Clapper had a different take on this. Let's hear what he had to say.
Was the FBI spying on Trump's campaign?
No, they were not. They were spying on a term I don't particularly like, but on what the Russians were doing, trying to understand, were the Russians infiltrating, trying to gain access, trying to gain leverage and influence.
So why doesn't he like
what they do?
So why doesn't he like that? He should be happy though.
Well, he should be.
So who do we believe, the liar or the leaker?
They're both liars. Is the problem. It's hard to differentiate between these two liars. I mean, what it really comes down to is Jim Comey has lied in front of Congress on so many occasions. His deputy, Andrew McCabe, lied to the FBI under oath on 3 different occasions. Clapper and Brennan, these guys have probably perpetuated the worst crime on American government political system history. And now they're scurrying rats. They're all pointing the finger at each other. What the bottom line is, these guys are going to have many, many bad days in front of them because they continue every time they go on television to lie, and they can't even get their story straight.
Well, yeah, the stories are going to get worse because you got to keep your stories together if investigators are going to start asking you questions.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're obviously going to have to get that story straight, but they could have gone to the president. I know Corey would agree with me on this. They could have gone in when he was candidate and said, listen, we're worried about the following things, and we're going to put some people, in place to pick up Russian intelligence. The president's total patriot, he would have been totally fine with it. But what they did was they completely underestimated the president. They were fearful that he was going to win, and they certainly wanted Hillary Clinton to win, and so they did it in this very surreptitious way. And now they're not going to come clean on it under any circumstances.
Well, they're saying they want to protect the president. They put a spy in the campaign to protect him.
I understand
Jesse,
that. They could have disclosed it to him. He would have been fine with it. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Jesse, there was only one campaign of the two nominees that took $5 million out of their campaign war chest, paid a former MI6 special agent to go to Russia to create a false dossier, and it wasn't the Trump campaign, it was the Clinton campaign. The question is, if they put a spy into the into the Trump campaign, did they also do that with the campaign that gave $5 million to go to Russia to create a false dossier? And we know the answer is no.
Right.
This was their insurance policy against a Trump success.
So you have Hillary Clinton, who's out there gallivanting with foreign leaders, foreigners from some suspicious countries, donating millions of dollars to her foundation, and there's no interest in the FBI of foreign influence onto the Clinton campaign. I would say that there's more foreign influence into the Clinton campaign from China, from Middle Eastern countries, from the Russians, than there was into the Trump campaign.
They're part of that system, though, and they're part of that artifice. And so that the next move will be to completely protect them, because God forbid if anything happens to them, they are two big dominoes that knock into everybody else, Jesse.
Yeah, well, the FBI is looking like the KGB, and they're going to have to start answering some questions. Also answering questions, the NFL finally has a policy about kneeling. I guess they bent to the president's will and to the will of the fans who didn't like the disrespect. Trump was asked about that change in policy. I think they're going to be kneeling, if they do kneel, not on the field, in the locker room. Brian Kilmeade caught up with the president.
You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, you shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country.
Oh, that freaked everybody out. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country. Maybe the left thinks he's going to deport some strong safeties or something like that.
You know, Jesse, there are rules for every organization that people work for. And one of the rules is very simple. Stand up and acknowledge the national anthem. I don't understand why this is even a controversial question, right? Look, if you don't...
It's not. 70% of the country agrees with it.
Jesse, if you don't want to respect the flag that men and women have died for the right to have there, then don't play a silly game where you make millions of dollars. And I know you're a talented, NFL player, but guess what? It is a privilege to play that game. And if you don't want to do it, there's a lot of other people who will go out and be happy to take your spot.
That's right.
Well, I love the integration of the free market capitalist system with the patriotism, because at the end of the day, the viewer walked away from the NFL.
Yeah, the ratings went down, attendance went down,
and so that scared all of them. But they're up against it now with the players' union. They'll have to see how that resolves itself. So
that's right.
So to me, I think they made the right decision. I think there's other ways to progress peace and social justice. If that's your agenda, I'm all for the First Amendment. But that is a game of entertainment. And the American people don't like what they're doing, and I'm glad that they made that decision.
Someone who disagrees with you, one of the coaches, Steve Kerr of the Golden State Warriors, had this to say on the new policy.
Basically trying to use the anthem as fake patriotism, nationalism, scaring people. It's idiotic. I'm proud to be in a league that understands patriotism. America is about free speech, about peacefully protesting. Our president decided to make it about that. The NFL followed suit, pandered to their fan base.
He's wrong, Anthony, because it's not about the First Amendment. You have the First Amendment. Fine, kneel or do what you need to do at a softball game in your backyard. But like you said, when you're at your employer's place of work in a stadium that he owns and you're wearing a jersey that he owns and he's paying you to work, he's not paying you to kneel. He's paying you to play football. You have to do what the company wants you to do.
He's also leaving out of that the NBA has signed into their collective bargaining agreement that everybody has to stand for the anthem, because they recognize it's a level of entertainment and they want to be respectful to all citizens of America.
So the NBA has a different policy than the NFL.
NBA has a different policy. So
and they all stand there.
They all have to stand.
So what is he talking about? He's a hypocrite.
It's signed contractually into the collective bargaining agreement.
Of course he's a hypocrite, but this is, Jesse, it's so simple, right? It's so simple. You play a game, you make a lot of money, it's an entertainment thing, you stand up, you show some respect for the greatest country in the world, which is where we live, and gives you the privilege of playing. If you don't want to stand for the national anthem, you're welcome to go play overseas somewhere. Good luck, Steve Kerr, making the same amount of money, coaching in Romania. I don't think it's going to happen.
I do get the grievance, though.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's a format for the grievances other than that. And,
I mean, listen, police brutality and racism is a serious issue in this country.
No question.
At the same time, there's other avenues where you can pontificate
just
about
remember,
that.
the greatest of all time, who was protesting the Vietnam War, said it was a white man's war. He left boxing. He didn't stand in the ring and kneel in the ring. He left boxing to make that protest. And so, now I'm not saying people should be doing that today, but I just want you to think of the power and the courage of being able to do that 50 years ago.
That's right. You look like you played football. Take a few hits to the head, Corey?
I've taken more. I think that was my growing up in Lowell, Massachusetts, a couple hits to the head, yeah.
All right, you guys.
None in the campaign, though.
No.
Take any hits in the
Steered clear of
campaign.
that.
That's right.
All right, Anthony, Corey, thank you guys very much.